Germany, I'm punching an Audi RS5 Sportback shaped hole over the damp Bavarian atmosphere at 257 feet per second, devouring the previous few stretches of unrestricted Autobahn before a wayward Golf forces me to slam the brakes. Until that head-bobbing moment of extreme deceleration, the entirety of my attention may be focused on everything forward on the tightly gripped steering wheel, the business end with the spear. It's not till later that I remember I have already been hauling 5 decent-sized bits of luggage through the high-speed proceedings, not harmful to indicated speeds above 170 miles per hour. We have a home in a wondrous time for ludicrously powerful luxury cars, approximately the oft-repeated cliché goes. But in this era of headline-grabbing six-figure stunners just like the 680-horsepower Porsche Panamera Turbo S Hybrid and 603-horsepower Mercedes-AMG S63, the Audi RS5 Sportback reps a kind of working-man super sedan vibe, for $75,195 to begin with. We're talking blown-out hot hatch to the premium set, not sky's limit, cargo-hauling hypercar. The formula the following is simple: stretch the RS5 Coupe's wheelbase by 2.3 inches, give a pair of doors, and extend the rake in the roofline, metamorph it right into a hatchback sedan. The resulting package adds sufficient functionality that can help justify this 444 horsepower brute for your skeptical mate. Everything forward on the windshield is the identical to the RS5, hence the Autobahn sauciness, but rear headroom grows 0.9 inches and legroom expands 2.4 inches to convert the spine seats from cramped quarters to perfectly livable perches. Also more usable could be the trunk, which doubles the coupe's cargo capacity, so when the rear seats are folded down a lot more than triples space to 35 cubic feet. Enough to gobble 5 golf bags or 4 full-size suitcases. The performance penalty for the added practicality is £88 due for the hatchback hardware and structural reinforcements, adding a tenth of the second towards the 60 miles per hour sprint, which now requires 3.8 seconds. Unexpected benefit: the body weight gain is rearward, while using hatchback's hard bits, slightly improving upon the coupe's 57.242.8 weight distribution, 56.5 43.5 with the Sportback. Though cleverly spelled out, the Sportback isn't without its dynamic dimensional shortcomings, included in this the nose-heavy balance along with a curb weight of 4 years old, 0.57 pounds for reference. A BMW M3 weighs 3,630 when preloaded with an automatic gearbox, as well as a Mercedes-AMG C63 tips the scales at 3,829 pounds despite the heft. The Audi's portliness proves well concealed on Bavaria's winding mountain passes, where it devours medium and high-speed corners with expedience. As together with the RS5 Coupe, the Sportback's behavior is managed with a mode selector that switches between comfort, automatic, dynamic, and individual. Don't allow automatic nomenclature fool you. While using optional dynamic ride control package, the automatic setting selects a set middle ground between comfort and dynamic. When equipped while using dynamic package and that is bundled with dynamic ride control, red calipers, along with a sport exhaust, steering ratios are variable. As using the suspension setting, dynamic mode thankfully keeps the steering at the constant ratio. Switching between settings triggers a palpable alteration of behavior. Comfort smoothens out your bumps and chills out your drivetrain and steering, while dynamic creates much more bounce while upping the artificially augmented exhaust note. Here, the decibels are upped by the diaphragm that vibrates the windshield, transmitting low-frequency sounds from the cabin and ups the ante incrementally with each mode setting. In dynamic the sound is pretty prominent, setting up a low-frequency resonance that may get a bit boomy at about 2,000 revolutions per minute. In its loudest setting, the vroom vroom novelty gets old fast, I lasted about a half hour before switching to individual mode to sculpt the artificial sounds. The RS5 launches from the line briskly along with the shortened first gear gets this to speed so quickly the 12 transition could be the only gear change that enables upshifts at redline when dynamic and manual shift modes are selected. Unless you're inside mildest comfort setting, the ZF8 speed shifts aggressively enough to produce its cog swaps feel prominent, creating the exact opposite experience of the buttery smooth luxury car experience. Another section of evidence supporting the RS5's more hands-on, involving focus, while fancier Audis just like the A8 and Q8 embrace full-glass touchscreen instrumentation, the RS5 maintains its more conventional switch gear of physical buttons, knobs, and toggles, that are easier and much more intuitive to use at speed than their digital counterparts. The MMI system controls the bulk of these settings using a fixed 8.3-inch center screen, and it's easier than you think to navigate through control wheel that accepts handwritten gestures. Also welcome are two real, fat exhaust pipes in the tail which buck Audi's recent trend of cloaking a corner with faux outlets. Despite its prevailing a sense of Germanic functionality, the RS5's cabin proves a fairly easy place to while away the times of day as evidenced by our two-day excursion through southern Germany. Our tester, designed with standard massaging seats and optional Nappa leather with honeycomb stitching, became a fatigue-free zone despite a long driving program that included an unscheduled sojourn in the Czech Republic. Once the RS5's thrusting forces grow tiresome, there's an abundance of civility to take pleasure from here: a well-insulated cabin, a full-screen Google Earth look at your surroundings via Audi's virtual cockpit display, along with a Bang & Olufsen stereo that pumps decent enough sounding tunes in the long haul. Our drive included visiting Audi Sport headquarters in Newburgh, where we were the first crew of journalists to tour the facilities and stretch the Sportback's legs for the facility's wet tarmac course. The company's subtext was clear: this would be the Mark's nerve center because of its highest performance offerings, the place that the team's GT3 race attempts are supported and where motorsport-minded customers can receive top-rated driver training. It's also where some in the RS5 Sportback's more domesticated traits emerge. While its chassis felt planted and predictable about the wet course, a small number of laps around the road course in the RS5 Coupe revealed some weightiness to its direction changes. Power occurs strong when summoned, using the sport differential allowing the trunk end to go out controllably with heavy throttle. The rear differential and front brakes work to help you turn in, even though stable once settled to the mid-corner. The RS5 doesn't feel particularly flickable or remarkably agile. While that dynamic demands some patience within the track, it's less offensive when negotiating sweepers over a mountain road. The RS5, despite its relatively unsticky Hankook Ventus S1 Nevo 2s, finds and holds a line easily enough, while offering enough stability and initial understeer to encourage healthy entry speeds. There's still a good amount of high-speed enjoyment available, especially because the twin-turbo V6's 443 lb-ft of torque peaks between 1,900 and 5,000 revolutions per minute, offering ample thrust in concert while using quick-shifting 8-speed. Dipping into that power band for the Autobahn allows you to strafe the left lane aggressively, however the steering response starts feeling a tad laggy at speeds above 120 miles per hour. No less than its optional carbon ceramic front rotors execute a commendable job of quickly scrubbing off velocity. Despite this RS5 Sportback's four-door, hatchback layout, there's something about its solidity and sternness and speed that endears. It may not be our first option for an autocross or possibly a top-speed run. Those duties would be better performed with purer, more tightly focused arsenals. But this is the car that counts silver linings as compelling benefits, particularly the fact that its voluminous rear cabin actually invites more exhaust note into the cockpit, and that the trunk seating accommodations mean more conspirators can tag along for high-speed escapades. Win-win? Well, accomplishment. Those seeking uncompromising performance will discover this heavier, longer wheelbase variant less than scalpel sharp enough for his or her tastes. But for high-speed shenanigans engrossed in a generous swath of usability, it's difficult to get fault with this wonderfully packaged RS model. 2019 Audi RS5 Sportback specifications. Late 2018. Price: $75,195 base. Engine: 2.9 liters twin-turbo Doc 24-valve V64 44 HP at 5,700 revolutions per minute, 443 lb-ft at 1,9500 revolutions per minute. Transmission: 8-speed automatic. Layout: 4-door, 4-passenger, front engine, AWD hatchback. EPA mileage: 1,826 miles per gallon city state. LXWXH: 188.3 by 79.9 by 54.6 inches, wheelbase. 111.2 inches, weight. 4,057 pounds, 060 miles per hour, 3.8 seconds, top speed. 155 miles per hour 174 W dynamic plus package.